I work in a little council called Yankalilla, south of Adelaide. I'm very proud to be that we were part, 12 of my leaders were part of the normed group, which became the CLS360 norm. I love this tool, and I'm not going to actually even try to explain the tool because we have the inventors of it with us, but I loved it because it has really, really good traffic lights, if you like. Green is good. I'm very proud of the fact that we're slightly above the norm. Let's talk about leadership. I'd like to talk a bit about lessons that I've learned in leadership. I think a leader has a choice. You either accept the status quo or you forge through and you make a difference. I believe in connecting openly. In my consulting days, I did lots of staff surveys, and every single time staff were giving feedback through the survey to say that their CEO and their senior executives were invisible. We don't see them enough. I've learned that leaders need to be authentic. I don't know about you, but I've worked with some leaders who are really great at spin. I think sometimes it really pays to keep your mouth shut. You can't be a good coach if you open your mouth all the time. I've learned that leaders are treated differently, whether you like it or not, especially when you get to the rank of CEO, because people do treat you differently. And I would say to people now, use that power with care, because you need to understand that perception and interpretation are very often different. So we judge ourselves on our intentions, and the rest of the world would judge us on the way they interpret our words and our actions. Their interpretation over here is a function of their life and all their background and their history, and so they'll make assumptions about us even before hearing us talk. Sometimes these two fists are apart. The intention and the interpretation are quite different. This is why, for me, it's really, really exciting to get feedback to understand whether your intentions meet perception. I do want to give a plug to the CLS360 because we've just done it, and I found it extraordinary and had some wonderful conversations about it. Getting feedback on how people see you and making a prescription for change, I think, is a critical thing that sensible leaders do. One of the great things I loved about the tool is it actually asks you to describe your ideal circumflex, your ideal self, and you compare that with your actual. One of the things they talk about in CLS360, which I loved, is that they ask you to describe the context in which you've been judged. And I show this because I asked a number of my elected members to do my CLS360. And I show it because actually it gave me some wonderful prompters to make some changes to the way that I was behaving. Because there's some red up there, and a red is a highlight to say, hey, you need to look at this because this person is seeing you in a different light to how you ideally would like to be seen. But there's the context. Why don't you try it? Stop and prop about your leadership values, your leadership journey and where you've come, because I found it really useful and interesting and scary and challenging and highlighted some things, but that's my leadership journey.